All right, guys, so I hope you ladies that have been trying to join find this. I'm not sure what happened there, but I had Wi-Fi. It said due to poor connection, and it just booted me off. So hopefully my internet is okay. First I tried from Zoom, so this is like the third time's the charm. First I tried from Zoom. Looks like I need to practice with that a little bit. Looks like there's a giant delay and I couldn't see that people had joined. Then I went live from my phone and it just kicked me off. So, woo, girlfriends, I got my coffee. I am ready to chat with you guys about fear and hitting your goals. It looks like we have some, yes, Astrid, sorry, I see you said I found you. This was a clunky tech issue over here for me. So I'm sorry, I'm looking down, guys, because I have my laptop here and I just want to make sure that it is broadcasting into the group. It looks like it is. Sarah said, I can see you and hear you. Wonderful, 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 guys. Yeah, drop me a comment if any of you guys have gone live to Facebook from Zoom, because I might have to pick your brain. I thought that was going to be quite a bit smoother than what it was. I guess I'll just have to do a trial run. So hopefully the tech gods grace me with strong enough Wi-Fi and good connections for all you ladies. Drop me a comment, guys. I see Sarah's on. Hi, Tanya, Sharmila, Prue, Astrid. Yay, ladies! I'm excited. I'm going to tag some of the ladies here in the comments that had marked that they were coming to the event. In case, yeah, I don't know, even my laptop, all my techie things look really weird right now. Maybe I'll tag people after the event ends, because this is looking kind of crazy. So I wanted to talk today with you guys about the fear monster inside of you. Okay. And this is something, it's kind of a, I don't know, a creepy name, a weird name, a cheesy name. Whatever word you would put to describe it, the fear monster is not something that I normally talk about. And I'm going to explain to you guys why I referred to it as the fear monster when I put the event out here for this live stream today. The first thing that I want you guys to do, hi Tanya, yeah, no, just major issues. Yeah, Sarah said, I hate Zoom to lives, use StreamYard. Yeah, I looked into StreamYard, but then I was like, well, I'm already paying for Zoom, so I should try the thing that I already have. And y'all see how well that worked out for me. I've seen other people do it though. I think I just need to, practice this and figure it out. All right, yeah, Sarah, catch the replay later. Awesome. And yeah, we'll talk about Elmo the Fear Monster. So, hi Magdalena. All right, guys, the first thing that I want you to do is I want to make sure that you guys have a pen and a paper, because this is going to be interactive. And it may not be as much as like me teaching a strategy, but there are some things that I think you're going to want to write down as we're going through this together. Because I'm going to take you through, I don't know, maybe you'd even call it a little bit of an exercise together. So grab a drink. I got my water, I got my coffee. Grab a drink, grab a pen and paper, and then we can get started. And I think there's so many quotes out there, so much in the personal development space about fear. The reality is, you can read these things, you can hear these things, and you still sometimes have a hard time getting your emotions in check or being objective and realizing exactly what is driving your decision making, right? There can kind of be two different spaces that you can fall into. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to grab a pen and paper, and I want you to write down one goal. What is one goal that you have either been working toward and haven't achieved? Hi, Jacqueline. Good time to hop on. What is one goal? We're starting this with a goal. Okay, what is one goal, one thing that either you have been working toward and you haven't achieved, or you haven't even started working toward it yet? Okay, either way, what is the number one goal for you in your business right now? What is the one thing that you want to have happen that hasn't happened for you yet? Yes, Tanya said, got it all. Notebook, pencil, coffee, water. Tanya and I are fully loaded. Okay, so number one, write down that goal. Okay, either something that you've wanted to achieve and you haven't, or something that you haven't started working toward yet. Because fear can be the thing holding you back, even if you haven't started taking action. Okay, ooh, Jacqueline, finishing 2 books. I love it. So what do you want? Okay, what do you really, really want in your business right now? Okay, so just take a second and write down that goal. Maybe it's leaving your 9 to 5. Maybe it's hitting $10,000 months. Maybe it's increasing your prices. Maybe it's signing your first client. Maybe it's getting more active on social media. Maybe it's starting a Facebook group. Maybe it's being more consistent with showing up, right? There's all different, maybe it's figuring out how to do sales. Maybe it's learning how to run Facebook ads, right? There are all different things that you may want to achieve. Maybe it is quitting, did I say that? Maybe it's quitting your 9 to 5. That's a goal that a lot of women have when they start their businesses. Okay, so get your goal written down. Second thing I want you to ask yourself, we're going to start with this little exercise, and then we're going to talk more about this fear monster and what's really going on. Second thing I want you to write down is, how long have you had that dream? Had that dream / goal. Okay? How long has this been a dream of yours? If you started your business last year with the goal of signing your first client, and that hasn't happened for you yet, right? That is still your top goal that you're aiming toward. It's important to know how long you have been working toward this. Okay, so take a second, really honest with yourself. Guys, you're not gonna do yourself any favors if you're not honest with these answers to yourself. One other note I wanna make about step 1 of writing down your goal. I want this goal to be really important to you. I didn't ask you to write down a task to achieve the bigger goal. I really want to know, what is this bigger goal? Okay. Yes, I love it. Carrie-Ann I was just going to say, Carrie-Ann already did this. Once you finish this, guys, if it's too personal for you, don't feel like you have to post it. Remember, this is a closed group, though nobody except the women inside this group will see your comments. But I would love for you to comment below with what that goal is and how long you have been working toward it. Okay. All right, guys. Carrie-Ann said reaching a profitable $10,000 a month. Jacqueline said for 4 years since I launched my last book. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So share, if you're just joining on right now, we're writing down our number 1 goal, step 1, and step 2, we're writing down how long we have been working toward that goal. Okay. Now here's the thing, guys. Let me just make a note here on my end. Okay, step 3, okay, there's just 3 steps to this beginning process, and we're going to get into the big conversation around this goal and what needs to happen or what needs to shift or what you need to overcome for you to make this goal happen sooner, okay? Hi, Claire, if you're still on. All right, ladies, drop your goals and how long you've been working on it. If you feel comfortable doing that, feel free to DM me. If you want to have a private conversation about it, feel free to send me a DM. I won't see it right now, but I will be checking those today, okay? So here is the next thing. Tanya said, well, I've had the goal of retirement for 5 years, but I've only really been working on it for 1 year. Yeah, good, Tanya, good. And that's important to know, right? Like something happened or something shifted during that first 4 years. Something was holding you back during those first 4 years that shifted or changed where you finally took action over this last year. Magdalena said, have international clients, dream for 2 to 3 years, started taking action 4 weeks ago. Congratulations, Magdalena, that's amazing. All right, so what's that top goal and how long have you been working on it? Third thing, I want you to be honest with yourself. Why has it taken this long? Okay, the third step, you're going to write down for yourself, why has it taken this long? And again, this live is all about fears and holding us back. So I am assuming that every single person here is working toward a goal or has been trying to overcome some kind of fear or something holding you back from achieving it, okay? So remember, first 3 steps, if you're just joining the live right now, first exercise that we're doing today is getting really clear on what your goal is, how long you've been working on it, and really super honest with yourself about why you haven't achieved that goal yet. So step 1 is to write down your goal. Step 2, how long have you been working on that dream or goal? And step 3, why has it taken you this long? Okay, so often, and I want to have a little conversation about this first. Actually, I'm going to take a drink of water, give you guys a second, and these don't have to be super long answers. You know your life, you know what you mean, right? If you've been busy with the kids, if you know, whatever it's been, write down just real quick what that is, because you know the details behind it. You don't have to write all that down for yourself. Yeah, Tanya shared, So if you're just hopping on, Tanya shared that she's had this dream for 5 years and started taking action about a year ago. And she said lack of belief. Yeah, so that's why, right, during those 4 years, what was going on for her was a lack of belief. Hi, Crystal. She said going live almost a year. Yeah, Magdalena was not feeling ready and wasn't feeling enough. Guys, this is so common. Like, we've all been there, right? Jacqueline said doing too many things, not focusing on it, prioritizing of bigger money-making time. Yep. And sometimes things fall in a certain line of priority, right? Like, for you, Jacqueline, I know that you coach women, right? Like, getting these things sold probably took priority over carving out the time to write the book. Get really honest with yourselves, guys. So step number 3, why has it taken you this long? Because if it's just a matter of time, okay, time and money are the 2 most common objections that people have for almost anything, including in their own lives, right? So if you're a coach, you're a consultant, the top 2 objections that you probably hear from potential clients, from leads, from sales calls, is that they don't have time or they don't have money. We do this to ourselves too, right? So I want to do X, Y, Z. Oh, I don't really have time for that. But the thing is, and I love this. The first time I heard this, it blew me away. Like, it's one of these quotes or stories that really resonated with me. So it's something that has stuck with me. And I can't even remember where I first heard it or read it. And I'm sure some of you have heard it before. But I love thinking about, no matter how big this world is, we have different languages, different people, different genders, different socioeconomic statuses, different religious beliefs, different political beliefs. We have different cultures, right? Like, we are so widely different around the world with all of those things. But the one thing that every single human being around the world has in common is that we all have 24 hours in our day, period, right? Richard Branson, 24 hours in his day. Oprah Winfrey, 24 hours in her day. Kim Trathen, 24 hours in her day. Jacqueline Brown, 24 hours in her day. Tanya Riley, 24 hours in her day. We all have the same amount of time. It's how we spend those 24 hours that really makes us different, right? How Beyonce spent her 24 hours as a teenager was wildly different than how I was spending my 24 hours as a teenager. Okay, so whether you're thinking about your clients right now, I want you thinking about your goals in your business and what you want to achieve. And if you're telling yourself that this goal, this big dream that you have that you want to achieve and you haven't achieved it yet, if you're telling yourself it's because you haven't had time, then you need to assess how you're spending your time, right? Plain and simple. You need to assess how you're spending your time. So often, yes, Jacqueline said, well, some of us tried to replicate Beyonce. Yes, if you can't, I can just click play right here. And we got Beyonce already up on my Chromebook. Okay, ladies, we're gonna run the world, right? So yes, big Beyonce fan. I'm going to pause a minute because I saw some comments coming in, so I want to go back and make sure I don't miss any of these. Yeah. Hi, Rebecca. Good to see you. Rebecca said, I have surpassed original goals I set since I started working with you. Yes, Rebecca, I love working with you. The strategies are working so fast, so genuine and helpful. Guys, this is what I do, okay? I teach women how to be more profitable online. So if we haven't really connected and chatted, and this is a goal of yours, right? Let's connect. Just drop the word strategy and we'll hop on a free strategy session, okay? We can talk about what it would look like to hit your goals together. All right, let me see. Jacqueline said, someone has bought my new book, so I need to finish writing it and publishing it, put it out, gives me incentive to finish. Oh, yes, pre-selling. I love it, Jacqueline. I love it. There's no bigger motivator, guys, to getting your butt in gear and getting things marked off your to-do list than pre-selling an offer, right? Because you have paid people that are waiting on it now. You can't keep putting it off. You can't keep telling yourself you don't have time to do it. Hi, Penny. Looks like Ryan might be on. Yes, girls. All right, good girl. Rebecca said goal setting is so scary. I'm learning. Yeah, it can be, right? Because then you have to dive in and do the work. So as I was saying, so often, whether it's your own clients or to yourself with hitting your goals and achieving your goals, the number one objections that come up are time and money. Okay, so when it comes to your time, it truly might be about prioritizing it. But here's where that fear monster comes in. And I'm going to share with you guys in a minute, again, why I called it that, okay? Here's where the fear monster comes in. If you have this dream, let's say it's of signing your first client so that you can get your business off the ground because you want to leave your 9-to-5, right? That's a really, really common one. Yes, Penny, it's so late where you are right now. Replay will be left in the group. Let's say that that is your dream, yet you're busy doing this and doing that, and maybe you go out to, depending where you are, if you can go out to lunch, you're filling your calendar with all these other things that are not working on your business. Yes, part of that is a time management thing, right? We make time for the things that we view a priority, just like how we spend our money, both time and money. We choose what we spend it on first. It is a choice, okay? There are basic needs that we have to cover with money. After that, it is a choice what we're spending our money on. With your time, it's also a choice. So what the fear monster can do is it can be really, really sneaky. It can climb inside your mind and it can convince you that these things are no longer choices that you have. It can convince you to believe wholeheartedly that you don't have time to grow a business because you're in corporate, because you have kids, because you still live at home with your mom and dad, right? There's all different reasons. It can convince you that because of XYZ, you don't have time to do this. When in reality, deep down, you may be afraid of signing that first client. Maybe you don't know how to get that first client. Maybe you feel really, you think you know how to get your first client, but maybe deep down you're afraid you're not going to get that client the results that you're selling. Maybe you're dealing with imposter syndrome, right? So all of these underlying fears can trick our brains into telling ourselves that our situation, that I don't have time and I don't have money, are facts that we have to live by. There are 1,000,001 cases out there of women that have built businesses while being in corporate, while raising children, while living at home with their parents, right? We've all heard these stories. We know these women. And there's no reason why you have to believe that current thing, whatever that thing is for you, if you're telling yourself you don't have time, there's no reason that you have to keep believing that that is fact. Okay? You have a choice with how you're spending your time. But when that continues, there's usually something deeper that is the root cause of it. So often, okay, I'm going to pause a minute and share with you guys about this fear monster. Well, let me finish this first. So often these fears that we have from all the clients that I've worked with, things that I've dealt with on my own, other women that I've talked with, so often there are, how many did I write down? Really three main things, okay? 3 main root causes to where that fear is stemming from, okay? Let me write these down so I don't mess them up. And somebody said it, maybe it was Tanya, I'm not sure now. There are 3 main reasons that I hear from women that is the root cause of holding themselves back. It's really what this fear is, okay? You might be telling yourself you don't have time, but now let's dig deeper, right? We're peeling back the layers to the onion. You're telling yourself you don't have time to do the things you need to do to hit this goal, so let's peel it back. And why aren't you prioritizing the time to do it? That's the question to ask yourself. Why aren't you prioritizing the time to do it? What is really, really going on deep down? Here are the top 3 things that I hear from women. So this is what I would call is this fear monster that is inside your mind holding you back. Number 1, not feeling good enough, right? It's that classic imposter syndrome that people talk about. Not feeling good enough, meaning maybe you don't think that you're worthy of success. Maybe you don't think you're smart enough, young enough, old enough, whatever it is, you have these doubts that you are capable of being the successful entrepreneur that you want to be. It may also mean that you don't think you can get your clients the results that you're promising them. Deep down, you're afraid, what if she pays me $1,200 and I don't get her XYZ result? What then? Right? So it's that not feeling good enough is one of the big fears that women face, entrepreneurs face when growing your business, and it can hit at all different levels, honey. Okay, so not feeling good enough. The second most common reason that I hear of women holding themselves back is this fear of losing money. Okay, it is, whether people want to admit it or not, they hold themselves back. And the number one way that I see this, and I'm not saying that anybody has to work with me, okay, there are a bunch of great coaches out there, mentors, There's a lot of great people in the industry, but I see a lot of entrepreneurs holding themselves back because they are so afraid of spending money on themselves and on their business, because deep down they're afraid that they're not going to get a return on that investment. They're afraid that it's going to be money not well spent. They're afraid that they're going to spend this money and get nothing out of it. Now, the reality is you can even peel that layer back, or peel that layer back deeper, right? Where is that fear of losing that money coming from? Is that fear really because you don't think you're good enough, right? And we go back to reason number one. Is that fear really because you are so afraid that you're not going to get your client results that now you're afraid to spend the money on your own investment, on your own business? Allison said this is all so true. Oh, Allison, that means a lot from you. Guys, Allison's a psychotherapist, so this means a lot coming from her that she agrees with my philosophies and my viewpoints and my thoughts on this. So get honest with yourself again, right? It's about getting really honest with yourself. Where's this fear coming from? If you are so afraid, if you have like this death grip on your money and you are so afraid, oh, thank you. Allison said you helped me get over my fear of investing more in my website. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you have this death grip on money where you are so incredibly afraid of spending any dollar on your business, it is a way of self-sabotaging. And I hand to God, I can tell you, when you are fearful of investing in your own business, it is incredibly difficult to convince other people that you are worth investing in. Okay? Just let that marinate a minute. If you are so fearful of investing in your own business, it becomes that much more difficult, or you'll have a really hard time convincing, I put that in air quotes, right? We're not convincing people that aren't a good fit, but it's going to be really hard for you to make sales. That's what it boils down to. If you are so deathly afraid of investing in your own business, it's going to be really hard to make sales. Okay? So this is something, if you are very fearful, if you want to hit XYZ goal and you've been working on it for 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, whatever it is, you've been working on it for a while, and what you're doing is not working, but you are too afraid to invest in a coach, that's what you need to unpack. That's what you need to dive into and figure out why you are so afraid to invest with a coach. Okay, we had some comments coming in here, so I'm going to check these a minute. Hi, Jasmina. I don't know if you're still on. Crystal said number one is me. Yeah, number one was not feeling good enough. You are not alone, Crystal. That is so incredibly common. Rashida said, invest in ourselves. If it wasn't for coaching with Kim, I wouldn't have launched my first course in July. Yes, you did! I've loved working with you. You are so amazing. So amazing. All right, Allison said, I got it redesigned. And she's talking about her website, guys. She got her website redesigned and it looks amazing. I'm getting incredible feedback thanks to Carrie B. Yes, guys, if you have some website, if you need to update your website, Carrie B is amazing. And then Crystal said, oops, number two, also me. Oh, girl, we should chat again soon. Let me expand. Let's see. Magdalena said, I've spent a lot of money and it did happen. Whoops, let me get your comment back up. I've spent a lot of money and it did happen. I had almost no results. Yeah, this does happen, right? I was extremely lavish on spending. Now I'm more reasonable. You know what, Magdalena, I am so glad that you brought this up because this is something that I like to clarify. When I talk about how important it is to invest, okay? I've talked about this publicly before. You guys may or may not have heard it. When I decided I was going to launch my online business, I had a background in marketing, I knew social media, but when I decided I was going to launch my business, the first thing I did was invest in a coach. Okay, I spent over $2,000. That was the first investment. I didn't have a website, I didn't have an email list. The number one thing I did was invest over $2,000 with a coach. Why? Why was that my decision when I had nothing set up yet? I will tell you why, because I knew come hell or high water, I was not wasting time on Google. I was not wasting time figuring it out myself. I wanted the most direct path from where I was to where I wanted to be. And I knew I could get there faster by working with somebody that had already been down that road. Okay, just like my son, okay, at one point he was really focused on basketball and he wanted to improve basketball. So we signed him up for a class, right? We signed him up and he worked with a coach. For some reason, this is perfectly acceptable for athletes to always work with a coach, right? I personally have never heard of an Olympian that made it to the Olympics and didn't have a coach behind them. Okay, so in the world of business, for some reason, women come with all these preconceived notions like, well, I haven't made enough money yet to hire a coach, and I haven't done this, and I haven't worked with enough. No, let me tell you, the right coach out there, there are coaches that are the right person at every stage of business. So for me, I wasn't going to dink around for 6 months or a year. I made the investment like that. With that said, okay, back to Magdalena's comment here. She spent lavishly. That is also something that I didn't do. I was very strategic with the dollars that I spent, and I made sure that I was investing in a coach that really specialized in the exact results I wanted to get. Okay, so I don't want anybody to hear me say if you're not ready to invest, it's going to be harder to get clients. There is, and I'm not just talking about, you don't have to spend lavishly, you have to be smart about it. Kind of like they say it's about working smarter, not harder. It's the same thing with your money, right? You want your money to work for you and you want to get the best return on your investment. I'm not saying to go and make yourself homeless because you wanted to hit XYZ goal. Okay, you have to have the money there to do it. You have to be really, really smart about what you're spending your money on. And if anybody is in the stage of business where they're like kind of making some money, not really sure how to manage it, just an FYI, I recently implemented the Profit First formula. You can Google it. There's YouTube videos out there. Mike Michalowicz, he has a book. I think it's genius. I love it. And it's all about how you pay yourself first as an entrepreneur so that you don't get into this grind of like you've spent all your money on operating expenses and you're left with nothing to pay yourself as the business owner. So definitely you have to be smart, right? And you have to research who you're going to work with. Make sure it's a good personality fit. So all of those things are really important. I'm so glad that Magdalena brought up her experience so that we could have a little conversation about that. All right, let me see. Oh, thank you. It looks like Rebecca tagged a few ladies and said, catch the replay, invest 30 minutes in yourself. Yes, it's so important. Rebecca said, yes, that's exactly why hiring a coach appealed to me. I could not organize these goals in my head, let alone waste time executing them. Ugh, a huge weight lifted. Yes, I love working with you. I'm so excited. It's been amazing. Tanya said, I'm loving this. I love dedicated time coaching clients to peel this onion back. Yes, getting through these fears has been key to all of them fast tracking their businesses. That's exactly it. The faster you can identify what's really holding you back, the faster you can work through it and make progress. That's the bottom line. You know, it's that whole ostrich thing, right? Like stick your head in the sand and yeah, you can stay there forever with your head in the sand. That's why one of the first things, guys, if you're jumping on late, catch the replay because we did an exercise in the beginning of this live to identify what your big goal is, how long you've been working on it, and what's really been holding you back. And that is why I wanted you guys to map that out because I don't want anybody feeling or continuing being an ostrich. If you haven't hit your goals and you don't know why, something is making you be the ostrich, right? It's time to get really introspective and figure out what it is that's holding you back. Yeah, Penny said the first thing that I did in my business is I invested in Kim's coaching class. Yay! I love having clients on. You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay, so what we talked about is this fear monster, right? And really figuring out, so why haven't you hit this goal? And we talked about not feeling good enough as one of the top fears, one of the top fear monsters that holds entrepreneurs back. Second, we talked about being really afraid to invest money, because that is a super common one. I talk to women all the time. I've encountered, I don't even know how many women that aren't hitting their goals. They have a dream of running a profitable business, but they're struggling to sign clients and they're not ready to make that financial investment. So peel back those layers of the onion, okay, right? Figure out where is that root cause coming from. And here is the third most common fear monster that I've been able to identify either in my own journey, my clients' journeys. It is so basic, guys. It's so basic. We had it as children and we still experience it as adults. It is the fear of embarrassment, right? Oh no, what happens if I publicly announce that I'm running this business and it tanks? What happens if I sign that high-level client and I can't get her the results that I promised? What happens if I announce I'm running a group program and nobody signs up, or dear God, one person signs up? Do you know how many women stress and avoid running a group program because they're so terrified that they'll have one person sign up for the group program and that they don't know what they will do then? It is paralyzing fear. Hey, there's Carrie B. Guys, she's our website lady. Okay? Perfect. I love it. Hey, Carrie. So these are the top 3 fears. So when you have your list here, okay, you made your list in the beginning of this call. Go back and watch the replay if you haven't caught it. What is your number 1 goal? How long have you been working on it? And number 3, why has it taken this long? And then peel those layers of the onion back. Okay, peel them back. You need to get down to that root cause. Embarrassment is a really tricky one, right? We cannot always control our emotional response to things. But when your emotions are holding you back from hitting your goals, it's time to figure out what you need to do as the entrepreneur to work through this, to make this happen, to hit your goals, because you are going to be so much happier in the long run, right? Another 3 months from now, do you want to be sitting in the same place? Another year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now? I hear this all the time from women that are in their corporate job, and their big goal is to be able to leave their 9 to 5, right? That's a really common one. How does it make you feel to think that if you don't take action, you don't make the change, you don't kill the fear monster in your head, kill that fear monster inside, how are you going to feel if you're sitting in the exact same place in another 6 months or in another year? For so many women that I know that just want out of corporate, it is agonizing to think of being in the exact same position down the road. And guys, this was a turning point for me. When I was first thinking about starting a business, I literally had one of these like, holy cow, epiphany nights. I was laying in bed. I was thinking about how unhappy I was. I felt like I was stuck in the grind, right? Like that lather, rinse, repeat. I would get up, get the kids to school, go to work, come home, do homework. Get up, get the kids to school, go to work, come home, do homework. I felt like everything was the same, and it was driving me crazy. It was not fulfilling to me. It was making me downright miserable. And I was very afraid to launch my business in the beginning. I was incredibly scared of it. And it finally dawned on me one night that I didn't care anymore. Like, I didn't care. I was more afraid of continuing to be stuck in the same position that I was in another 3, 6, 9, 12 months than I was of failing. The fear of being stuck, something shifted. There was a change in the tides, right? Before that, my fear of failure was greater than my fear of being in the same place. But the more work I did, the more I thought about it, journaling on it, diving into personal development, figuring out what my goals were, my dreams were, what I really wanted to achieve, it shifted. And my fear of failure was now less than my fear of being stuck. So I was willing to do anything to make this dream a reality and make it successful. So understanding there's all different fear, I think it was Crystal that said a little bit ago, she was like, oh, I'm number 1, right? I'm not feeling good enough. And then we talked about number 2, being afraid to invest money. And she was like, snap, I'm also number 2, right? These fear monsters that hold us back are not something that are independent of one another, right? You can have multiple ones of these, and that just means that you need to do more work working through each and every one. So I want to share with you guys why I called it killing the fear monster. It's kind of harsh, right? Kind of, I don't know, gory. That's the word I'm looking for. It's kind of gory to think of killing the fear monster. But drop me a comment, guys. Tell me. I am watching on Netflix right now that show Lock and Key. I don't know if you've seen it. But long story short, there is a scene, and yeah, Crystal said we need to chat again. Yeah, let's send me a DM, or I'll DM you later, Crystal. Let's chat. It would be really good for you. So there is a scene in the show Lock and Key, it's on Netflix, where there's this evil, nasty looking gremlin thing. I don't even know, a troll. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's evil and it's ugly and it like is coming out of the ground. And one of the main characters kills it. And what it was her fears. It was the fear inside of her head, and she kills it. She brutally kills it, and it's gone. And her entire next day is wildly different than her day before. The day before, she was nervous. She was filled with fear. She had all these thoughts. She couldn't get beyond something traumatic that had happened. I don't want to give away the whole show for you guys. Okay? And that's when I was watching that, and I thought, this is a brilliant representation for what entrepreneurs need to go through. because these fears, and there's going to be new fears that creep up at every new level of business, but I thought it was genius how they represented fear as this nasty, ugly, scary, gnarly troll thing doing these evil things, and how once she killed fear, her life was so much better the next day, right? She colored her hair the color she wanted, and she's more confident at school. And I keep thinking how, again, I just thought it was brilliant, the representation. And imagine this fear that you wrote down, this fear that has been holding you back. Imagine if it was just gone. How would you treat your business, and what would your next action steps look like if that fear wasn't there? If you could recognize the fears for what it is. Again, I'm not talking about investing in your business if you don't know how you're going to buy your kids a loaf of bread next week, right? I'm not talking about making poor money choices and things like that. But what I'm talking about is addressing the fear, and when it is truly fear that is holding you back, how could your life and business look different if you were able to kill those fears? What decision would you make? What decision would you make right now in your business? What would your next step be if fear was no longer the driving force, if fear was no longer kind of driving that ship, right? Because fear, imagine you're on a ship and fear is steering it. You're going to take a very different course. You're going to take the hard, fast road when fear is no longer holding you back. That's probably one of the main reasons why I invested like that into a coach that was more than $2,000 within a week of deciding I was going to launch my business. Because that fear was gone, right? I explained to you guys I had that shift. And that fear of failure was no longer driving my ship, right? I was more afraid of staying stuck, so I was willing to do whatever it was going to take to make this business successful. Let me see. Oh, I missed that part, Crystal. You said number 3, also you. Yes, we do need to talk. Allison said, how do you recover mentally when someone criticizes you or is even mean online? Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. Such a good question. And this is something that has changed for me over times. And one of my clients, she may or may not be on here, I'm not going to mention any names. She wants to chime in, she can. One of my clients, we were just talking about this on one of our group calls the other week because she received a private message that was maybe not the kindest. And I've had some things happen too. You know, I shared with you guys in the group that that girl blocked and reported me for no reason. I've had people comment on my public posts like, oh, you're so full of crap. Like, you can't really make that much money online, and like basically call you a liar. I had somebody do that inside the group one time. So bye, Felicia. Those are things, Allison, that can rattle you, especially earlier on. I mentally, and it's not always easy because when we're triggered and we have that emotional response, right, that's hard to control. It's really about trying to manage or work through these emotional responses. So one of the things that I try to do is I honestly have journaled around this and told myself, you are hitting a new level of success and a new level of visibility when you get trolls. Because people that are shy, people that are hiding away, people that aren't showing up online, people that aren't successful, they don't have internet trolls, right? So it actually is a compliment. Oh, guys, I feel like I need to sneeze. It actually is a compliment to what you're doing and how you're showing up when those trolls do start to come out. Can it still rattle us? Yes, but it's about recovery, right? Did this comment trigger something that you can actually use as a learning lesson for yourself? Okay, I wrote a post the other week and one of the group members was like, I don't agree with that line at all. Okay, fine, we don't all have to agree. But I thought it was really interesting how she took the line of my post because I did not write it the way that she took it. So, right, sometimes people do take our words, whether they're written or spoken. Sometimes it affects people and they take it differently than how we intended it. So when we're talking about something like that, it might be a learning lesson for us as the entrepreneur, right? Maybe like, okay, maybe I shouldn't word things like that. But when you truly just have somebody kind of a bully, when you have somebody being an online bully or picking us apart, I think it's really important to remember that the more visible you get, that is something that happens online. People have that keyboard courage, right? They have keyboard courage and people will say and do things that are not kind because they don't really know us or they're envious of us. somebody that is further along in their journey, somebody that has already been there, somebody that is at whatever level of success we're striving for, whatever that looks like to each and every one of us. Whatever that is, people that are further along and already where we want to be really are never looking back and criticizing us. It's usually people that aren't as far along in the journey as we are that start kind of throwing some shade, throwing some hate. So I think it's really important for one to remember, actually what I want to share with you guys, and this fits right into here. I don't even remember where or how I got this or where it came from, but there are 3 steps that, whether it's somebody being mean, whether it's working through the fear, whether it's you did a launch and nobody signed up for it, right? Whatever it is when you're struggling and you feel like you get rattled, there are 3 steps that I think are really important to go through, because we do immediately have an emotional response. And what we want to make sure is that we don't stay stuck down in that area, right? So number 1, let's see, Ellison said, wow, that's a great point about trolls usually being people who are not ahead. They are. That's a fact. So 3 steps when something has rattled you and kind of thrown you off course. Step number 1, I think it's really important to accept the emotions that you're feeling. Okay, so when I talk about working through and we don't want to stay stuck in those emotions, that is different than saying stuff your emotions down, right, and pretend like they don't happen, because we do feel. We're feeling beings. So accepting the emotions, but now we want to talk about what is the next step so that you don't stay stuck there. So don't ridicule yourself for feeling a certain way. Accept that that is how you're feeling. And then, so it's an A, B, C. So A is accept those emotions. B is be objective. Okay, just because you, let's say, launched a program and nobody signed up for it, does not mean that you're a terrible entrepreneur and you should quit your whole business, right? That's being objective means taking a step back and saying, okay, I did this launch and nobody signed up for it. Why? Where was the breakdown? What happened? How many people did I talk to? Something in your strategy didn't work, and what do you need to fix for next time? That's being objective about it, right? We've already accepted the emotions. We understand we're going to feel disappointment. We're going to feel anger. We're going to feel rattled. But now we're going to be objective about what really happened. And C, A, B, C. C is now you're going to create a plan. Okay, so accept the emotions, be objective, and create a plan so that it doesn't happen again. It's kind of that whole like learning from your mistakes, right? Every single thing that happens in our business is a learning tool for us. Okay, awesome. I'm going to scroll back up because I think there were some more comments coming in and I want to make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. Tanya said, can you restate number 3 about emotions? I was writing notes and missed what you said. So I think when you said, I think what you're talking about, Tanya, and DM me if this doesn't answer your question, screenshot me your notes and I can see exactly where you were writing. But the three fears that typically hold us back are number 1, not feeling good enough. Number 2, losing money. And number 3, feeling embarrassed, right? Embarrassed that we're not going to hit our goals. Embarrassed if we don't sign that client. Embarrassed if we don't get them their results that we have promised them. This embarrassment can look like some of the other ones sometimes, right? Like, oh, I'm so afraid to invest money, when really you're afraid to invest money because you're afraid you're not going to be successful and you're going to be embarrassed. I think those are the emotions you're talking about. If not, screenshot and DM me your notes and I can see exactly where you were writing. And then we can handle it that way. All right, Tanya said, this is tied to that emotional monster Kim Trathan is talking about. It's a form of trauma that keeps our brain from pushing past it. It sinks back into old comfort zones. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad that you agree. So glad that you agree, Tanya. Amazing lady. So if you are just joining on now, Allison said, can you do a live sometime on how you curl your hair? It's beautiful. Thank you. If you guys really want to know my secret to how I learned this, it was about circa 2010, and I DM'd a young 20-something-year-old that I saw had her hair curled like this, and I couldn't figure it out. So I had to enlist a 20-year-old to tell me because I didn't know how to Google it. I love it. That's amazing. All right, so if you are just hopping on right now, guys, definitely catch the replay. Okay, we covered a lot today. We are at time. I think I blocked off 45 minutes for this live. Any friends that you guys have inside this group, make sure that you are tagging them so that they can hear this message, because these fear monsters inside of our head is one of the, I would say it's the top thing that holds us back, right? There may be socioeconomic issues, things like that. But when we're truly talking about fears, this can be the number one reason why a year from now you still haven't hit your goals, or 4 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 6 months from now. So make sure that you go back and you catch this. We talked about a lot. There's an exercise for you to do in the beginning. And remember, ladies, this is what I do, okay? I help women create a strategy and a system that works for them inside of their business to start getting clients and make them more profitable. And if that means we spend, time on the coaching calls, not only looking at the strategy that I teach you, but talking through these fears and what's holding you back, that's how I coach my clients, okay? Because those things are so incredibly important. I can give you the best strategy in the world. I can tell you do A, B, and C. And if deep down you're terrified, you're not going to take action and do that. So if you would like to chat about moving your business forward, just drop the word strategy and we can chat in the DMs and schedule a free strategy session and talk about what that would actually look like for us to work together. And I not only teach you the strategies to get more clients into your business, but we also deal with things like this, okay? We talk about these fears because I want you taking action and moving forward. The strategy is a huge piece of what I teach my clients, but it's not the only piece to what I teach my clients. So go ahead, drop the word strategy if you would like to chat about what this could look like for you. Crystal, make sure that we connect. I'll DM you or you DM me. Tanya, if I didn't answer your questions, screenshot me a little picture of your notes where you were writing. And then we can chat about that further. Let me know if you have any questions on this, ladies. And if you're catching the replay, make sure you're still, drop us, tell us what your goal is and things like that. I think that is it for today. I'm going to check if there are any other questions coming in. I don't see any other questions. Looks like, Dee was on and Lonnie was on and Stella. Oh, so good to see you, ladies. Elson said, thank you for doing these lives. They're so, so helpful. You are very welcome. You're very welcome. I want each and every one of you to have your plan in place for how you're going to move your business forward. And once again, ladies, I would love to chat with you about what it could look like if I were to help you get more clients and start hitting your goals. So drop the word strategy if you want to chat about that. All right. Have a good day, ladies. Bye-bye.